Hi, everybody. You're listening to Radio Cherry Bombe, and I'm your host, Kerry Diamond, coming to you from Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York City. Today's guest is Rhoda Magbitang, winner of Top Chef Season 23. How thrilling for Rhoda. She's in New York City for a special dinner at the James Beard House next week. Then she'll be back for a dinner series September 5th and 6th at Cynthia Restaurant, also here in New York. If you're going to be in town, you should definitely snag a res. Rhoda is an amazing human. The Cherry Bombe team and I met her when she was the chef at the Inn at Maddie's Tavern in Los Olivos, California. Today, she's executive chef of CanoeHouse at the Mauna Lani Resort, a gorgeous auberge property on Hawaii's Big Island. She came to the U.S. from the Philippines by herself when she was just 17 and got herself on the path of what has been a remarkable career. Stay tuned for our chat. Quick Cherry Bombe housekeeping. Cherry Bombe House, our next big event, is happening September 9th through 18th here in New York City. It's 10 days of events, dinners, meetups, so many things here in New York's meatpacking district. Tickets will be on sale soon for the different events, but first up is my talk with Olivia Tiedemann, one of the coolest chefs around. You might know Olivia from social media and the content she shares from her life as a private chef. I have learned a lot watching her cook and cannot wait for her debut cookbook, which is titled Eat Like the Rich. She and I will be in conversation on September 14th at noon. Tickets include our talk, a signed copy of Olivia's book, some bites from the book, and access to the cafe run by our friends at Square. Visit cherrybombe.com for more. Now, let's check in with today's guest. Rhoda Magbitang, welcome to Radio Cherry Bombe.
Thank you for having me, Kerry.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. This is the first time we've been able to have you on the show.
Yeah. Well, remember when we did the panel at Maddie's Tavern?
I do. I remember
and
it well.
That was that was such a kickoff of that property. What a way to welcome everyone in the community and Cherry Bombe. I mean, it was such a special time.
That was so much fun. And it was great to meet you and all the people out there. And I think that led to Jubilee Wine Country.
Yeah.
And now we're doing Jubilee Paso Robles.
You are.
We are at the end of September. If anyone's listening and you want to come.
My favorite place that I've ever lived is Central Coast of California. I mean, just so much to explore.
Well, you have lived a lot of different places, which we'll talk about. Right now, you are living on the Big Island of Hawaii. And I have to ask, this weekend, Hurricane Lala hit the island. How are your friends doing? How are you doing?
So far, everyone's doing okay. One of the things that, I'm really just in awe of people's resilience, especially in places that get struck by natural disasters like that. I just have so much faith in the people and just the land itself.
I was going to say the people especially. It's a very tight-knit community.
Absolutely.
Wherever you go out there. So very resilient people in a resilient place. But I just want to say anyone who's listening who's out there, just so sorry for what everyone's going through. And I hope the recovery efforts happen fast and everyone's okay.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thrilled you are in New York. Welcome to New York. Has it been a while since you've been here?
Last time I was here was 10 years ago, exactly.
Did you ever think you'd be returning as a Top Chef winner?
Not at all. I mean, no, not even anywhere near close. I've had so many colleagues in the past that have tried to convince me to go on Top Chef, and it's just not something that I wanted to subject myself to. I don't think it's for everybody, and I feel like you have dreams, right? Like you see something on TV or like see someone's career and you're like, I could see myself doing that, or I could see, but I've just always been in the mindset of like, I just want to cook. I just want to be in the kitchen, Yeah,
I read somewhere that you said you're never happier than when you're working as a line cook.
That's absolutely correct. It's one of my favorite times, in my career. My highlight was definitely working at AOC. On the line, like the original AOC restaurant
with Suzanne
on West 3rd
in LA.
Floors. Mm-hmm. Suzanne and Carolyn, amazing people. But we had an all-girl line. We had one guy on the line. His name's Javier Espinoza. He's now with Suzanne, right-hand person. And he was a sous chef at the time, but the entire line was females.
That's so funny. And we should say Suzanne Goen and Carolyn Stein.
Yeah, Suzanne Goen and Carolyn Stein. Yeah, of course. People just say Suzanne and Carolyn. They
Right.
know exactly what we're talking about. But yes,
they've earned their one name status over the
100%.
years. I read also that you never applied for Top Chef. So in all these years, you never sought out the application because they came to you for this season.
Yeah. So I have to clarify this because I do know that everyone goes through the application process very differently. And some people do put in an application and, you know, they get called by either like a casting director or just someone in casting. But I was fortunate enough to get a phone call. And of course, I was hesitant at first. But then if it's right in front of you, it's hard to ignore. And so the second call, like the second year that they called, I found it to be the right time. So I did apply. You know, technically you apply because you still have to go through the process.
Yeah, what's the process like? Tell us.
Long.
You have to do videos, write
You have
essays,
to do a video. You have to do cooking demo.
you film yourself.
That you film yourself. I had one of my line cooks film for me. Poor guy. We just cooked a dish. They had a couple of things that we weren't allowed to like make. You can't sear a scallop and call that a dish. Like it has to be like interesting enough or compelling enough for you to move forward. Lots of interviews. You got to go through the first pass, second pass until like however many passes. And, you know, that's in the span of like 3 or 4 months. And then you hear back and, you know, you either make the cut. And the thing is that you could get called. You don't necessarily get chosen. And I know people say like, oh, she didn't apply for Top. I did. I went through the application process.
So even if they tap you, you still have to follow the protocol.
Oh, yeah.
The whole time you're doing it, were you like, oh my God, this is such a waste of my time? Or were you like, I'm going to really go for it?
Oh, 100% there were times like that. And obviously at the time that I was on Top Chef, I was already living in Hawaii. And obviously there's some really tough situations that you find yourself in. And you're like, I could be sitting on the beach right now. What am I doing here? We were on the racetrack the first day. And I'm like, okay, well, there's better ways to bake myself to death.
So you get chosen for season 23. You get eliminated, but you get to do Last Chance Kitchen. Tell us, what did you get eliminated for and what's going through your mind when you're in Last Chance Kitchen?
It's a mind game, right? I do believe that there's a lot of mental fortitude that you have to apply when you're in a situation like Top Chef. I got in my head and I made a dish that I stood by, but, you know, obviously deep down, I know exactly what was wrong with it. I know exactly what happened, and I deserve to go home.
Tom was not into that dish?
Oh, he was not. He gave me crap about it, like, you know, later on in the episodes, all in jest. And
what was the dish?
It was a monkfish. It was a seared monkfish, and the challenge was dehydration challenge. So you have to use some dehydrated products that you dehydrated yourself. I was not very smart in dehydrating squid ink in my room at the hotel with garlic and stuff. It smelled amazing in there. That should have been an indication. But at the time, it sounded like a good idea. Not great, but good. Fit the challenge. And so the dish didn't turn out the way I wanted, and I got sent home. It was devastating.
You had to pack your knives.
I had to pack my knives.
Oh, Kristen had to tell you.
She had to say it.
Are you subscribed to Cherry Bomb on Substack? If not, head to cherrybomb.substack.com and sign up. It's like our very own online magazine. We've got lots of great free content. Recipes from folks like Caroline Chambers, newsletters, profiles. There's also a paid tier that gets you access to Cherry Bomb cover stories, like our Mother Joffrey cover story from The Vault that just went live, or our recent cover story on The Bear's culinary producer, Courtney Storer. A monthly subscription is $6 or $55 per year. You can access Substack via your desktop, which is my favorite way, or through their app. Again, that's cherrybomb.substack.com. I was reading something you told Vogue Philippines, which, by the way, is one of my favorite magazines.
Really?
They have the best covers of all the Vogues in all the world.
Shout out.
Great magazine. Yep.
I love that.
You told them that when you were tapped to be on season 23, that you did not come up with a whole bunch of dishes in your head that you were going to go and make. You worked on your mental fitness.
Yes.
Tell me about that, and how does one even prepare for that mentally?
So I just thought that it would be futile to, practice making dishes because you could get really stuck on that idea. And if it doesn't fit the challenges and you're just like so set on making that dish, it's not going to work. And so, for me, there was just a lot of talking yourself into being okay. Like just, I'm not a very good social person. People might be surprised to hear that.
You're a bit of an introvert? Is that what you mean?
I think so. Mm-hmm. I'm self-diagnosed, I'm pretty sure. And I don't hang out with a lot of chefs.
I don't think being an introvert is a disease, but I will let you self-diagnose yourself as one.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Sometimes it might feel like that.
It does. I mean, when you have to like remove yourself from situations, you're like, oh, no, maybe.
But might be why you like being in the kitchen.
Maybe.
Also, yeah.
Maybe. One of my favorite times in the kitchen is when, no one else is there. I'm so productive. And I'm also not used to hanging out with a lot of chefs. And so that alone required a lot of mental just fitness and stretching and, even do like a little bit of calisthenics. It's such a great eye-opener because the ideas that float around and that you hear from like chatter and, what people have been doing and all these things, it could be either distracting or it could be helpful. And you have to like be able to choose a path and which direction you want to go in. So
interesting. Is it a little bit like a, professional basketball game? Are people shit talking? Are they trying to like get into your head?
There wasn't a lot of shit talking involved.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I think the newer iteration of the show, what I love about Top Chef is that it evolves with the time. And it mirrors our industry so much so that we're just a little bit more compassionate. And I don't think that there's a lot of things that people are getting back from like being an asshole on TV. Because before, like, you get more airtime and you get more camera time and all these things. You come out of the show and you can still have a career. Now, that's questionable. They equate your character. That's value.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
We talked about that a lot with Padma Lakshmi when she did her new show, America's Culinary Cup, just about evolving with the times and what is it that people want from these shows these days.
Right.
And, it's expertise, it's learning. It's like seeing these very special people who are so, successful in their careers.
Yeah.
And what makes them, unique and amazing.
It could take you really, really far and you could really, just soar, do your thing and just be a good person.
Back to Last Chance Kitchen.
Yes.
You get to go on it and you do well. Tell us what happens from that point on.
After I got out of Last Chance Kitchen, it was a mindfuck. 100%. First of all, I went back into the competition missing two really big challenges, the whole pig roast and restaurant wars. And it felt almost like cheating. But who's to say that I wouldn't have done well if I were in it? Because we'll never know. But I just felt like I missed out on a lot. And kudos to the other chef contestants. Like, they made me feel so welcome back and that I deserved to be there. And, obviously it's a competition, but the air is different. It's very familial and welcoming and embracing, and it felt good. Although you have conversations with yourself and you're like, oh, should I be here? Do I deserve to be here? But you talk yourself in or out of situations and you just have to like resolve it in your head.
And you talked yourself in.
Yeah.
Because you did go on and win the show. Enough time has passed that's not a giant spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You decided to do Filipino cuisine.
Yes.
As an homage to the food you grew up with. Did I read this correctly? You've never cooked Filipino food professionally?
No. I mean, I would say, I would do events here and there, like at Maddie's Tavern. I did a huge Kamayan dinner as my sort of send-off. And that was really successful. A lot of work. But it was really wonderful. And I did something similar at Mauna Lani in Hawaii during festive, which is, a big time for us. Might not have been the best timing, like just work-wise, but it really went over well. A lot of these things just come out of either memory and or just you have to conjure up what makes you happy and how a dish makes you feel. And being on Top Chef, you don't really rely on recipes a lot. And when you're there for a certain amount of time, you sort of look for things that make you feel good, especially with dishes and ideas. And you almost like revert back to childhood memories and just the purest memories that you have of food. It's not what someone taught you when you were 24, 25, in your 30s. You know, it's something that someone taught you or fed you when you were little and you didn't have a lot of memories of food. And those are the ones that stuck. And that's what I went with.
Tell us what you made.
For my first course, I made a sweet potato, like a roasted sweet potato that I smoked. I made a very similar dish at Maddie's Tavern, but this is with the addition of uni, which is a nod to my California upbringing, I would say. And it's also kind of like a little nod to North Carolina as well, Charlotte. So that was my first course. My second course was a version of a congee. We call it lugao in the Philippines, with abalone, again, from California, with abalone liver mousse. We love a good liver, you know, anything in the Philippines. So I felt like that was a good way to incorporate that. And that was a dish that's dedicated to my mother every time we were sick. And I didn't get sick too often when I was young because I was breastfed. I was the only child that was breastfed. So I think I had like an iron immune system. But when I did get sick, this is the dish that literally I take one bite of it and I already feel better. So that was for her. And then my third dish was a tortang talong, which is a eggplant omelet, a roasted eggplant. You peel it, you kind of smash it a little bit, you dip it in egg, and then you shallow fry. Very, very humble dish. That is my toast to my first food memory. One of the things that my mom would do to ration food for us, because she has a lot of children, a lot of siblings. She would feed us with her hand. So one of the first food memories that I had was like just this balled up rice with the eggplant dish and like a little bit of banana ketchup. And, you know, that was like my first taste of that dish. Sometimes we put like pork in it and sometimes we get fancy, but that's like the most bold expression of what that dish is. And I kind of wanted to make it like as close to the original as possible. And then the fourth course is braised short rib with pork liver sauce. And that one is for my dad. It's usually made with goat. Couldn't find goat in Charlotte. But, you know, short rib's good. It's a dish that my dad would make for special occasions. And it's always present. Usually we would buy goat around June, July. But, you know, like we feed it, we take care of it, make sure it has a happy last 6 months. And then we utilize the whole animal and we make sure that we honor it. But yeah, that's a really, really, really good dish that my dad makes. So I made a version of it. And
that all sounds delicious.
Yeah.
How did you feel going into the finale?
It felt surreal. It felt very, I don't know how to really explain it. It's weird, like you're still kind of processing. And after all this time, it's been a year. But it was a really good, just sort of like, wow, like I'm so close. Sherry and Lawrence, they were in the finale with me. They're just exceptional people. And, you know, obviously it could have been anyone's game at that point, but I just felt like they were such great competitors. Anyone could have taken it and I would have been happy. That's all that's going through my head. I just wanted to cook and I just wanted to have a really good time. And, you know, obviously like the weight is really heavy, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Well, congratulations. We're so proud of you. When we heard you won, we were like, oh my gosh, we cannot believe this. You know, because we've been following you ever since we met you at Maddie's Tavern. The whole team was so thrilled. So congratulations. And now you're part of this really exclusive club. How does that feel?
Great. You know, like I'm so honored. You're right. It's so exclusive that people are texting, and the people that I've looked up to for all my career, I just now have access to. And there's no more incredible feeling than that. And everyone's just been so nice and just really gracious. I'm really honored. I'm very thankful.
So we should mention the dinner that you have coming up. You're doing a dinner at James Beard House next week. That's a private dinner.
Yeah.
But you're coming back Labor Day weekend, September 5th and 6th. and you're doing a series of dinners. You're cooking at a restaurant that's brand new to me, so thank you so much for introducing us to it. Cynthia, and it's founded by Sherry Cardozo and Claire Dubois, and you'll be cooking with some of your pals from Top Chef.
That's right.
What's in store for this dinner? You can still book on Resi, I believe.
Yes, yes. Hopefully it's sold out, but hopefully
it will be sold out, people, so don't sit on this.
So Cynthia is a very new restaurant, I guess, relatively.
Oh, and I should mention it's in the West Village.
West Village or Manhattan?
The West Village of Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Our big island.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's a very small, intimate restaurant, tasting menu, 2 seatings a night. I think it's a very personal project for Sherry and Claire. They're 2 really wonderful, passionate people, and you can kind of see in their interactions too. They get along really well, and they have a cute little banter, but they're doing something really special there. I've seen Sherry cook, and she does it with pure heart and soul, and I've been looking forward to this. We've been talking about this for a little bit, and I know she's going to be a great host. I'm a little scared because I know she likes to party. Not a bad thing at all. I think it's going to be a really, really fun weekend. It's going to be a really collaborative menu. We've been working on the courses and things like that kind of speaks to us, but also is still in line with Cynthia's ethos. They're very big on no waste and not necessarily highbrow, lowbrow, because, Sherry's food is very fancy. This is really fancy. But I think that she's able to elevate really humble ingredients and, have them take the center stage. And I think that's what really gravitated me towards her, because we have such different styles, but she still cooks so much from the heart that her food is still very recognizable, and you can have a lineup of dishes in front of you and you'll be able to pinpoint which one's hers. And I think that's really special as a chef.
Well, I can't wait. Very exciting. And it'll be Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Everybody will be clinging to the last moments of summer.
Yes.
It's going to be an exciting time. Let's talk about a few other things. I was intrigued to learn that you moved to California all by yourself at the age of 17. What was going on there?
When you're living in the Philippines and you have an opportunity to move to the U.S., you don't say no. My father has been petitioned by his parents back in the 80s. When my sister and I were born, we were able to apply for an immigrant status in the U.S. And this was also in the 80s, because I was born in 83. My sister was born in 85. And that application has been ongoing. It got approved in 2001. It's a long journey. It's very costly. Attorney fees, the whole thing, traveling and all that stuff. So when I was finally approved to come, we didn't hesitate. We flew out 2 months after the visa got stamped.
Was it you and your sister?
Just me and my sister. She's my younger sister. Yeah.
So you had to take care of your younger sister here.
I had to take care of my younger sister here. I had to take care of my younger sisters.
You were a kid yourself.
I was. Well, at that time, there were already 5 of us. I already had 4 sisters who were in the Philippines. At the time that when we moved to the U.S., it was just me and my sister Katrina. My other 3 siblings were left with my mom. We were basically by ourselves. But I took care of my sisters back home, did chores and all that stuff. So when I moved to the States, you basically have to grow up even more so, really fast. Get jobs, get a license.
That's incredible that you were able to navigate all that. Where did you move to in California?
San Fernando Valley, Van Nuys,
And were you in a Filipino community?
No, I was in a suburb. I mean, there's Filipinos everywhere, so you can find a Filipino community. You park yourself outside of a Filipino grocery store. There's your community, It's easy to sort of be around relatives and cousins and things like that, but obviously, you don't have them all the time. And Filipino families in the Philippines are so tight-knit, too much sometimes. And, you need a little bit of separation, but it's fun. It's a different community that you're building there. When you move to the States, there's that incredible culture shock. You're like, oh, people don't have meals together. You can't just go to your neighbor next door and borrow a cup of sugar. I mean, I guess you can, but there's a shyness around it.
We like to think we can.
Yeah, we like to think we can, but you get a weird look.
You find some jobs. You eventually decide you want to go to culinary school.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you went to Le Cordon Bleu.
Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena.
What was that moment when you decided you wanted to cook?
I've always enjoyed cooking. When we were younger in the Philippines, my sister and I would divide up chores because my other 3 siblings were too young to do anything. Still in diapers, can't really have them sweep the floor or mop. My sister would either wash clothes or wash the dishes. I cook and I iron clothes. My 2 favorite things. I don't know why. The repetitiveness of it, I guess like the ironing, but cooking is just something that I gravitated towards at a young age.
And you can also immediately tell if you did a good job or not.
Exactly.
With both of those things.
Exactly. My mom is not going to go, sweep her finger on a mantle and be like, there's still dust in here, which she did, by the way. I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with cooking. My grandma was a fantastic cook. My mom was a great cook as well. Actually, a lot of people in my family are great cooks, but I like being alone in the kitchen. No one bothered me. We had like this kind of outdoor kitchen with like propane gas, and you kind of have to be mindful of like how much gas you're using. So like you have to be smart about it. Coals, or like you can start it if you run out. Whatever, like you have to be really creative about it. I just made really traditional food and I had fun with it. And I just also fell in love with the feeling of nurturing loved ones. We always have a communal table, and it's usually like 3 or 4 families combined in this one long table. And it's just cool to like see people's reactions with your dishes. And it's that instant gratification. I think it's, more selfish than anything.
Well, we're learning a lot about you. You like to be alone in the kitchen, but you like to eat meals with lots of other people.
Yes.
So you go to culinary school. You wind up working in some of the best places in Los Angeles. What was that about? Did you decide you really wanted to get on this fine dining path?
The fine dining thing, I think, is when you're in culinary school and you're trained classically, that's like your first inclination. Especially if you're like a serious cook, and I'm using, air quotes, you don't want to settle for less than anything than, fine dining. And now obviously like that meaning is sort of loose in a sense. But, at the time I opened Jonathan Gold's like 101 list. It was LA Times at the time. And Melise was number 1. AOC was number 2. And I think I'm dating myself. That's a long time ago. I mean, Melise, AOC, still fantastic restaurants, really great. And so I chose Melise, and I was lucky enough. And at that time, Naisha Arrington was working in the kitchen. Chef Josiah's chef, who's still there, by the way, Chef Ken, was there still. And, there were a lot of really young, budding chefs. And it was an incredible time, intense. Working at Melise made me want to take a sabbatical. But I was like, wait, I'm just starting and I already want to, but I think it was a good way to sort of assess what you want. And I'm really thankful that I was aware enough that maybe I could set this aside for later on when I have a little bit more experience, because I'm also incredibly self-conscious about, my mental health, and I know when I'm not happy, and I know when I'm not getting what I needed out of an experience. And to be honest, I wouldn't change that for the world. I loved my experience there, although it was hard. You have to experience hard things,
But it didn't scare you.
It didn't scare me at all.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a few of the other places you went on to work.
After Melise, I went to AOC, which was a polar opposite. Obviously, Melise is a different kind of fun. AOC was like top. It was intense. It was lively. It was dynamic. Produce. I've never tasted an haricot vert. And the way that the dishes are composed. It's the only restaurant that I've really ever worked at where the cooks would come to the restaurant on their days off as often as you can see them. Like, oh, so-and-so is off today. I'm pretty sure we're going to see them in the dining room, and lo and behold.
That's incredible. I also love that your big memory is of a string bean. That's pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah. It was, revelatory. When you eat something for the first time and you're like, this is what it should be like, and that's still your benchmark, you know you did okay.
Absolutely. You eventually go on to Maddie's Tavern.
Yes.
One of the Auberge properties, which is, like we said, we got to meet you. It was so nice to meet you. And then I told you that story. We got there on your last night and you were gone already and we were heartbroken. But they told us you were headed to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I read that you had accepted a job to work in Costa Rica.
That's right.
You got another offer, but you had already accepted the Costa Rica job.
I did.
That happened to me once. I accepted a job and then unaccepted the job.
I know.
And it's a really awkward thing if you find yourself in that position. How did you handle it? I handled it to the best of my abilities at the time, but I don't think I handled it well.
How do you handle something like that, though? I mean, what would you think you would have done differently?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done differently. How about you?
Luckily enough for me, it's within the same company. So
it was another Auberge property.
It was another Auberge property.
Got it.
It's just the Auberge in Costa Rica. And I've had a love affair with that property, the Hacienda Altagracia. It's this gorgeous property, like 50 casitas on the foothills of the Talamanca Mountains and a coffee farm with a river. And they have this tub that's heated by wood fire. I mean, it's just magic. Every Thursday, they'd have the horse show, and they would cook on top of this mountain. I mean, I feel like I'm making it up, but I'm not. And there's a spa there that is heaven. I'm a spa slut. Like I love a good spa.
That's good to know. You should write some spa reviews for us.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, I tried to start like a little spa column. I had one of my friends do it, but I don't know what happened. She didn't.
Carrie,
Okay, I mean, you're our new spa editor. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I got a new job. It's designed by The Well, and The Well is incredible. And they have this, it's called Casa de Agua, and it's overlooking the mountains, and it's just marble,
So wait, none of this is leading up to saying no to this job.
None of it, because I was so sold on it.
Clearly you still are.
I know. Mauna Lani, if you're listening.
We'll talk a lot about Mauna Lani. So
I know.
Gorgeous property.
But yeah, so I went there for a task force because they lost their chef. I spent good 3 weeks there. The general manager at the time, we had a conversation and he was like, "You want to come work here?" I go, and I'm very impulsive. It doesn't take me a long time to make a decision because
right, you just said yes to our job offer on the spot.
Exactly.
You asked 0 questions.
I mean, hello. It felt right. I felt good about it. So I don't like to think about things too much because then I get into an argument with myself and it doesn't end well ever. It felt right. I said yes. I went back to Maddie's Tavern. I gave them my notice. And then all the paperwork started coming in. And so, I was looking for a place. When you're an expat, they actually pay for your housing.
That's great.
And, and they pay for the travel, like if you want to go home once a year. And it's a great deal, right? And who wouldn't want to live in Costa Rica for a few years? And so I went back to Maddie's. I gave my notice. It was a very long notice. And so I had time to take my parents to Hawaii for a vacation. They were living in Seattle at the time. I was like, let's go to Mauna Lani. It's my mom's 60th birthday. This was in June of 2024. And I said, you know what, let's celebrate. We'll spend a few days, before I move to Costa Rica in August. And so went to Mauna Lani, checked in. We were having lunch at one of the restaurants called Halani. And the general manager, Pete Alice, he sits himself down, uninvited, by the way, sits himself down on our table and goes, "Hey, I heard you're moving to Costa Rica." I go, "Yes." He goes, "What?" Shrugging his shoulders, like, "Why don't you move here instead?" I go, "You're not serious. You can't do that." He goes, "Of course I can." Very Pete. No one knows Pete.
Had you two work together at Maddie's?
No, we had a lot of mutual friends. Hospitality industry is a big, small world. Mm-hmm. And so everyone knows anyone. I didn't think he was serious. And he was, it turns out. And that vacation turned out to be a really long, multi-day interview. But, it's kind of silly to call it an interview because I was basically offered the job on the spot. And I go, "Who's going to talk to Altagracia?" He goes, I'll worry about that. Don't worry. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to them. So I had a conversation with the general manager at Altagracia, and he wasn't happy, of course, but we worked it out. The team in Costa Rica were obviously, saddened, but I think they're happy with who they have there in charge.
But I understand. You're so cool and talented and, great to be around. So of course, they were sad. Well, now you are the executive chef of this fantastic place, CanoeHouse. Tell us about CanoeHouse and the food, but also tell us how you put your mark on the place.
Yeah. So CanoeHouse has been open for, I believe, over 40 years now. And it brought up a lot of really great Hawaiian chefs. I think Alan Wong started there, Peter Merriman from, the Merriman Restaurant Group all over Hawaii. Like a lot of really great Hawaiian chefs that went through that kitchen. Either they started their career there or they worked there at some point in their careers. So it's very storied, and it's gone through a lot of iterations of cuisines and chefs. The main draw of that restaurant is obviously the views. It's fantastic. We get the best sunsets. But the food has always been very good, no matter what iteration it is. And so stepping into that role was a lot of pressure. When it reopened after Auberge took over in 2020, it had a Japanese paniolo concept, which is Japanese cowboy. I thought that was kind of cute, and leaning really into like the Japanese. This is a cool fact. So when you take an aerial view of Mauna Lani, the hotel itself, it's an arrow. And it's an arrow pointed directly to Tokyo. It's very cool. And so there's that connection. One of the owners of Mauna Lani is also from Japan. And so we were kind of leaning into that concept. But now I think it's evolving more into Hawaiian produce and what we can get. And, there's a lot of fermentation involved. And it's just a lot more dynamic. And we're involving a lot of our local purveyors and just making it more us.
That must be so exciting to work with the local farmers and purveyors.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of them. And obviously, we have to be mindful with the fact that how much they're producing versus how much we're needing. And we have to supplement it with some other stuff. But I think that it's really important to understand, first of all, what grows and what grows well. Because something could be local, and if it's not great or inconsistent, it's hard to incorporate it. So that's when pickling and fermentation and preserving takes place. Because you could have a basket of the ugliest oranges. It makes for great ponzu. Why not? That's where we're having fun.
Tell me your signature dish.
So right now we have a whole fish. When you think of Hawaii, you're surrounded by the ocean. There's plenty of fish, right? Yes and no. You have the tuna, and it's so interesting because we went to the Oahu fish auction. So much fish there, but not a lot of variety. It's really interesting. And I think it just depends on the boats and what they're fishing for. But you learn so much from that experience because what they could consider bycatch, it would be a bycatch of 4,000 pounds of mahi-mahi. Cool, we'll take that. That would be your catch of the day. But every once in a while during bottom fish season, which would be the Hawaiian snappers, this is around winter time for us, November through September. We would have these beautiful, onagas, opakapaka, ukus, and they're small enough that we can serve them whole, and they're fresh and they're beautiful. And so we would put some whatever kimchi that we put in there, it could be cucumber, daikon, whatever we can get from the farms, and we'll make ponzu with whatever citrus that we would have. It would just be kind of like an evolving dish. But the fish is always there, and the sauces are always yummy, and the vegetable accompaniments are always yummy. So I like that. I like being able to be dictated with what's available. And sometimes we'd have 30 fish, sometimes we'd have no fish. And that's okay, And I feel like that's when we sort of have more of our freedom with what we can provide and what we can showcase.
Are your top chef dishes on the menu? Are you allowed to do that?
I am allowed to do that. This is going to sound really weird.
Go for it.
I was never really happy with any of my dishes. I didn't like them. I think it's just for me. When I look back, and that's why it's hard for me to watch the show from start to finish, because I always look back and I think like, "Ugh, why did I do that? What was I thinking? Even though the dish did well, like I could have done this instead. Why did I choose to do this?" And so if I were to be able to workshop some more things and maybe make an iteration of some dishes, then yes, I'll put them on. But I'd rather not at this point.
Wow, fascinating fact from Rhoda. Okay. I didn't tell you this, but I'll be in Oahu in November for the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival.
No way.
Yes.
What are you doing?
A keynote interview, I think. I would rather be interviewing, but I think someone's interviewing me.
Oh, fun. You're doing the main event then, or the main Oahu leg of it.
Yes.
That's going to be great.
Yes. So I'm going to stay a few extra days.
Would you like to come to Mauna Lani?
I would come in a heartbeat.
I would love
But I also would love to know some of your faves. I don't really know a lot of women from the Hawaii food scene.
Oh, there's plenty. I mean, obviously, Leanne Wong.
Yes.
She's in Maui.
I have to go meet Leanne. We had her on the show.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's fantastic. I love her.
But I haven't talked to her since the fires, so I would love to see her in better times.
She's, oh man, she goes full speed every day. I don't know how she does it. She's got so much going on. When we were in Chicago for James Beard, we had dim sum, and we ate a table of food for like 10 men. It was incredible. I've been fortunate enough that the Hawaii chef community, again, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it's very bro-y.
Some still are.
Yeah. You know, like there's a lot of that Hawaiian mentality. Like it's very much male-led. Every once in a while, you'll find some females that are just really kicking ass. There's this girl named Monique. She has Mama Guava, which is her private catering.
I love that name.
Yeah, I know. I love it too. But she's in Honolulu. I also know this girl named Justine. She's in the Big Island. She has like a bougie farmer sort of company. She has a farm, sort of like a B&B thing on the other side of the island. So a great community there. We're doing all what we can to sort of lift each other up. But it's hard with schedules and things like that. But, you know, we're making do.
I'm so happy to hear that. I just looked up. My thing is called Breaking the Kitchen Door.
Oh.
Women Leading the Future of Food and Hospitality. It says I'm giving a keynote, so I might have to write a speech. I'm not sure, but I will find out. But it's part of the festival called the Feast Summit.
Yes.
And it's a professional development conference that's part of it.
That's fantastic.
So I will be at that. If anybody's going to be around, get a ticket, come say hi, and send me all your recs.
Okay, I will. And then let's sidebar about Mauna Lani.
Cool.
I would love to host you.
That'd be fun. We are running out of time. You have a busy schedule. Your publicists keep peeking over to see if we're still talking. Tell me what you're really psyched to do in New York.
Everything. I want to eat everything.
Good answer.
I want to see everything. Fortunately, I'm with a group of people that also love to eat and drink and imbibe and, you know, indulge in all that stuff. I think it helps that I know that I'm coming back in a couple weeks and that I'll probably have a little bit more time. You know, we'll see how militant Sherry's schedule is. But yeah, I mean, it's been 10 years since I was here last, and the city has changed so much and hasn't changed at all at the same time, if you can believe it.
It's a great time to be here.
Yeah.
We love our mayor, the Knicks, all the things.
Amazing.
So many new restaurants, so many amazing culinary talents continuing to open places every week. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the best part of, I think, winning. You know, obviously, you make the best out of the situation, but just the opportunities that are being afforded to me at the moment.
You're a champ, babe. New York loves a champ.
Thank you.
All right, few of the speed round questions. What are you streaming right now? Do you have time to watch anything?
Yeah, Paradise on Hulu.
Keep meaning to watch that.
Oh, it's
good.
So good.
Okay. We're just going to jump ahead to the last one.
Yeah.
If you had to be trapped on a desert island with one food celebrity, who would it be and why? And I have no idea what your answer is going to be.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes I can guess, but I can't guess yours.
Really?
They could be living, dead, but they just have to be famous.
Oh, man. A food celebrity. Could it be a chef that's just well known?
Sure.
Fergus Henderson?
I think he's famous. Yeah. Tell us why. Wait, he is famous.
He is? Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's
hugely famous. I was being silly when I said that. But yeah, he's really famous.
I think we could have a lot of fun. And obviously, he's a fantastic chef. And if you can be trapped on an island with someone that can just make something maybe like a mongoose delicious, I know he could. I know he could. And he can make jokes about it and will be entertained and fed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mongoose for everybody. Well, congratulations again. So proud of you. Team Cherry Bombe is just thrilled. And welcome back to New York.
Thank you.
You're the bomb. Good to see you.
Thank you. I love Cherry Bombe. I love Kerry. Thank you.
That's it for today's show. Our theme song is by the band Tra La La. Joseph Hazen is a studio engineer for Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center. Our producers are Catherine Baker and Jenna Sadu. Our executive assistant is Bridget Pittman. And our head of partnerships is Rachel Close. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're the bomb.